Welcome to Rising Goddess Radio. I'm your hostess, Michelle Torrance. I created Rising Goddess Radio to be a space where we dive deep into our spiritual, emotional, and physical bodies. We're getting real and connecting with ourselves in the most intimate ways. We'll be talking all things sacred sexual, relationship building, and womb healing. We'll be learning how to connect with our bodies through learning the language it speaks, how to use our sexual and sensual energies to create, manifest, and heal our lives. This show is about healing the chaotic feminine and toxic masculine within to create a world that responds to the divine and healthy energy you chose to tune in, tap in, and turn on. We will learn from amazing humans who take time and share their wisdom and sacred healing magic, rising humans who are here in this world to be healers, teachers, guides, priestesses, warriors, and shamans. All divine sisters and brothers in rising. We'll get witchy, sassy, sexy, and saucy. We're going to talk all things that align us with our true nature and authentic selves and create a community that expands with the ascension and growth of each of us. So grab some green juice, light some cannabis, get your blankets, or sit by the pool because we are about to rise up another level together. Catch you on the inside, dolls. Hello, my beautiful rising humans, and welcome to this next episode of Rising Goddess Radio. This is a Solocast, and this episode is all about this new moon in Aries. April 5th, 2019 is our new moon, and so this episode is being dropped a couple of days before, so that way you can prepare for this new moon and maybe create a ritual or follow a ritual for the first time, and just go in to this new moon cycle with a bit more awareness, a bit more connection with yourself, understanding with yourself, understanding of the moon, and utilizing this magical power for your own magic to create in this world. So let's go ahead and get started. There's a lot happening with this new moon, and we're going to actually break it down into the different signs and how this particular new moon in Aries is going to affect your particular sun zodiac, Western zodiac astrology sign. So that's only going to affect the sun sign. That's what we're going to go over. However, what I would love for you to do is come and join the Rising Goddess group on Facebook, and let's talk about your moon sign. I'm going to be doing another episode regarding moon signs and sharing all about that. So stay tuned for that. So let's go ahead and get started, right? So this new moon in Aries, first of all, when we think of Aries, Aries is a fire sign, right? Aries is the, every time I think of Aries, my daughter is an Aries. She's like this wildfire that rips through. And every time I think of an Aries, I think of wands, of course, with tarot. And I think of all of the, fiery aspects of action and especially like Ruby. If you've taken the personality test, the gem test, whether you're sapphire, ruby, emerald, or pearl, I'm a sapphire with a ruby like right there next to it and then an emerald below. But the ruby is all about setting the goal, going after the goal, action oriented, type A personality. Definitely just setting that goal and doing absolutely nothing else until that goal is received and achieved. And that is definitely how I feel about Aries. And so when we think about the moon is our emotional aspect of our being, right? The sun is our outward personality. Our sun sign is our outward personality. The moon affects our emotional. So our moon sign is our emotional sign. Our rising sign is how other people see us, right? So my sun sign is a Scorpio, Western Astrology. My moon sign is Virgo, and my rising is Pisces. So I can only imagine. I mean, there's so much to me. There's so much depth and width and, dare I say, girth? I don't know if that's the right word. So anyway, so what is this new moon in Aries about? This new moon is really the power to let go of the past, and letting the spark of a new idea take the wheel. New moons are all about intention settings, while full moon is all about releasing. Now, while we go into this intention setting, understand that these couple of days before this new moon, we are in the waning moon phase. And the waning moon is really such a beautiful time where we can dive into our shadow aspect and really go into and get clear. This is where we're really starting to really just kind of dive in and see what seeds do we want to plant for these intentions, right? Where are we holding things within our shadow, within ourselves, within our being that is holding space and taking up space where we could let go of that. We can release that with this waning moon energy. And then in that dark moon, right before the sliver of the new moon, in that dark moon is where we really dive in and get fully clear and clear out any of those shadow things. I really like to visualize this as that episode of Friends where Phoebe, like Ross comes into Central Park, right? And Phoebe's like, ew. And she like starts picking out like the lint in his aura. This is really the time in the waning moon, especially before we get into that dark moon, deep, intense alignment, right? This is where you can really start to pinpoint and pull out all of the little pieces of lint within your being. That is taking up space. Because when you remove those little pieces of lint that's taking up space, then you create space to plant seeds of growth and success and desires, right? So this new moon is really the power of letting go of the past and letting these new ideas, the spark of these new ideas take over. Remember, that spark is such a key word with Aries, right? Aries is all about fire, is all about passion, is all about moving forward, all about action. And so spark is the instantaneous revelational moment. I don't know if revelational is a word, but a moment where it all takes place. And this is usually where we start to kind of freak out when we allow our new ideas to take the wheel, right? This is if we have issues with trust or a fear of success or fear of failing. All of that comes in, right? So with this new moon, though, let's break it down for everyone. First of all, before we go down into the actual sun signs and how this is going to affect you, what is the actual base vibration of this new moon, right? This new moon is going to have some major obstacles with this. Mars entered Gemini at the end of March. And Mars is really all about, it's the fiery planet, right? Mars rules Aries. And so this is the fiery masculine planet, really. Mars, Venus, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Moving into Gemini, Gemini is all air, right? So we've got Mars who rules fire moving into air, and that's like this whirlwind of things, right? And Gemini is, yes, it is the twins, but Geminis rule communication. They are the master orators. They are the master creators. They are mainly, most of your geniuses are Geminis. So Gemini is really where our thought process is. This is where we come up with all of the logic and the reasoning that we have. The King of Swords, right? If you follow Tarot, the King of Swords really represents the healthy version or vision of Gemini to me. So while there are some major obstacles that are happening with this new moon, the challenges are... the rewards are just as rewarding, right? So just as it is challenging, it is rewarding. So the obstacles that are going to happen, depending on how challenging and rewarding it is, depends on the choices that you make. Now, there's going to be this opportunity. There's multiple opportunities daily. Let me just kind of stop right there. There are so many opportunities surrounding us every single day, every moment of the day. It's just whether or not we're allowing ourselves to actually view and see these opportunities, right? So a lot of the time when obstacles come into our life, those obstacles are the actual bridge to our opportunities. Okay. So that obstacle, depending on the choices that you make and how you handle that particular obstacle, will lead you to where you want to be. Right. So a little bit more cosmic stuff that's going on, right, with this new moon. The moon actually squares up with Saturn. Saturn is the karmic planet. It infringes on emotional connection. So this is really a time where we're going to be facing unhealthy habits head on. So you may have already started to kind of see a little bit of that as we've started to wane in this moon, right? A lot of unhealthy habits have started to creep up, whether or not they're subconscious or conscious, they've started to creep up. So this is a time where when we start to understand or when we start to realize and recognize that habits that we have had, unhealthy habits that we have had, the habitual patterns that we've done and created within our lives, when we start to see those come back into our life, that is a signal and a trigger for us to become aware and pay attention to something going on, right? So this is our opportunity to face that head on. What unhealthy habit have you been participating in within yourself? What habitual cycle have you been participating within yourself? Unhealthy cycle have you been doing, right? This is the time to really get clear on this. And that's why utilizing this waning moon energy right now to really pull out the lint is so important. These are the little unhealthy habits that have come into your life. Now, also, Luna is squaring up with Pluto, which Pluto is the very dark, moody, and the most intense and personal feelings, right? Pluto rules Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio, fully understand that 100%. So it's really important to understand that we're going to be diving into our shadows. So while we're utilizing this waning moon energy to pull out the lint, to get clear, right, to be able to put these seeds in that dark moon phase, when the moon squares up there with Saturn and Pluto, right, then we're going to actually have to go within our shadows, the darkest parts of our shadows, and face the most unhealthy habits that we have created. Because with this new moon in Aries, we have the opportunity to propel ourselves quickly, just like a forest fire, just like a rapid fire, right? Moving through, we have the power to do that. And we also have the hope, because not only do we square up with Saturn and Pluto, but we also form this trine, right? We're triangulated, trined up with Jupiter. And Jupiter, of course, is the planet of luck and fortune. But it's really important to understand that we have to go into the depths of our shadows. We have to allow ourselves to face the unhealthy habits that we have been participating in with our lives, whether it's been all of these times and this is the first time you're awakening to this particular awareness of yourself, or this is the next level of you and your ascension, and you're understanding some old habitual patterns that have come into your life, or even ancient, right? So if you're in a level of your growth and your ascension and your awareness in your life right now where you are working on ancient habits and patterns and pains and traumas that are coming up through the cellular system and the DNA of your system, your energetic vibrational system, if you are working on that right now, this is just another opportunity for you to really dive in and really face these habitual things. And really, that deep of healing is really moving forward into the future of our growth and of humanity, and really in the collective series. So trust where the universe is leading you, trust where Goddess is leading you, trust where God is leading you, light, Buddha, whoever you decide to call and label the alignment of your being, and the truth of your existence and the basis of love, then trust in that. Okay. Trust in that. So let's dive into the different zodiacs. Again, this is Western astrology and this is your sun sign. So how is this new moon going to affect you as a sun sign? Let's start at the very top, right? We started Aries. Aries, this is a time for you to really love where you've been and honor where you're going. But also it's so important to remember to tap into where you are right now. This is the time for your decisions are to be based on who you are, where you are right now, and what you need in this moment in time. This is the time, this new moon in Aries for you, my sun's sign Aries, is again, the time for you to connect with where you are now. Of course, you love where you've been and you are honoring where you're going, but being present in this moment, and making the decisions based off of who you are and what you need right now is what this new moon energy is for you. So moving on to my Tauruses. So Tauruses, this is the time for you, my beautiful, bullheaded, stubborn Tauruses. This is the time for you to go inward. I know sometimes it can be a little tough for you to go inward, even though most of you Tauruses love to be out there and running through. This is the time to nourish your soul. This is the time to take time for solitude, reflection. Anytime when I'm thinking right now, the vision that comes to mind is the Hermit. If you're familiar with Tarot, the Hermit, this is really the energy and the time to utilize for this new moon. So how can you utilize these intentions, right? Aries, your intentions for this new moon is to be present with who you are and make the decisions of where you are right now. This is your life that you're doing. And while you are honoring the future, and the decisions that you make right now propel you and set you up for where you desire to be. Taurus, your intentions for this new moon is to really dive into deep within yourself. Go fully inward, nourishing your soul, allowing yourself the time for solitude, for reflection, for self-care. Okay, Geminis, this is the time to really get connected with other like-minded people. Okay, there's a lot of loneliness that you may be battling right now. And to battle that loneliness, it's time to talk with other people. Get out there. Other people want to learn from you just as much as you love to learn from others, right? You Geminis, you're the air sign. You're the conscious communicators, right? We just talked about Mars being in Gemini. And we'll go back to that because I didn't really fully dive into that. But, this is the time to really allow yourself to learn from other people. Geminis, the ego gets in a lot where it's like it's this idea that knowing everything, right? You've got to know everything, but you don't, and it's okay to learn from people. And this is really the time to have the intention of connecting with others, have the intention of learning from others, and allow others to learn from you just from conversation and connecting with other people. Cancer. My Cancers out there, this is your time. This is your time. Utilize this energy to propel yourself out from the shadows. It's time to come out. I know it's scary, right? It's scary and invigorating all at the same time. This is your time to be seen. This is your time to allow the public attention to see you, right? So your intentions for this new moon, should you accept them as all readings and signs and ideas that I'm talking about right now, is really have the intention of propelling yourself into the spotlight. Normally, you're a very watery sign. Of course, your water sign is you're very emotional. You're a bit more in turn. You desire to, I just see like the river through the Grand Canyon. Okay. So it's like investigate through with your fluidity and your desire to create from your fluidity. So this is the time really to utilize that. Jump in the spotlight. Tap in. It's almost like tapping into your Leo energy, my beautiful Cancers, almost like tapping into Leo. So now let's moving on to Leo, right? Leos, you're right there. You're so right there. You are on the verge of an amazing new adventure. There's a new journey coming. There's a new adventure coming. A lot of different cultural enrichment, whether you are traveling to different places or you are studying different places, right? And this is a time to really study higher things, really start to learn the next level of your awareness, right? Leos, you love being on stage, but sometimes it's time to take a step off to the stage, to the side, and study some better lines, right? So your intentions, Leo, for this new moon are to really allow yourself to devote to a new and higher study, allow yourself to fall in and get excited for this amazing new adventure. Plan something to get yourself outside of your comfort zone. This is really, like I said, taking yourself off the stage for a moment, right? And stepping out to the side and studying for a new role or a more intense role that aligns with your higher being that's rising up. I know that makes sense for you, Leos. All right. So my Virgos. Virgos, this is the time to let go. And this affects me tremendously in my moon. I understand being a Virgo moon, but letting go, this is the time to completely start over. This is really where you are no longer burdened of the past. You have chosen, this is it. This is time to fully let go. You're no longer burdened. The slate is clean. Letting go and completely just stepping up. You are not bypassing, you are not running away from. What you are doing is you've acknowledged, you've recognized, you've accepted, you've acknowledged, you've understood, and you've transmuted. And now in this transmutation state, it is time to let it go. It is time to allow yourself to have a clean slate. It is okay to start over, Virgo. It is okay. The world will not end. I promise you. It may feel a little bittersweet, right? Letting go of the past, letting go of the comfortable things. We hear all the time, right? Adventure begins just outside your comfort zone, right? So letting go of these experiences, these emotions, these people in your life that keep you in this state of low vibrational or in your comfort zone. It's time to let go of that. It's time to start new. And you can totally do this. So Libra, your intentions, what's going on with you? Libras are always the romantic, right? You're always thinking about relationships and partnerships. And for you to have that successful relationship, Libra, communication, cooperation, and empathy are important. So your intentions for this new moon, Libra, are to dive into working on your communication, your cooperation, and your empathy. If you are desiring to create healthy relationships with other beings, no matter what the being is, whether it's with yourself, whether it's with another human, whether it's with an animal, this is the time where you are to tap into cooperation energy and vibration. What does cooperation mean to you? Tapping into communication. How can you clearly communicate your emotions, your thoughts, and all of these things in a way that doesn't put you into the place of your feelings being hurt? Big thing with Libra, right? So understanding that if you want those healthy relationships with others, then it's up to you to embody those healthy relationships with yourself. Okay. So Scorpio, here we go. My gosh, this makes so much sense for me. Raise your hand, all my other Scorpio sons out there. This is the time to create structure and organization. Heller. But it's as you take action. So this is really where this is hitting me really right there in my gut, right in my solar plexus area there, right? Because a lot of the times I would constantly create lists and then make a list and a plan and a structure. And then I would stay in the loop of creating structure, but I would never take action on it, right? So this is the time, Scorpios, our intentions this new moon is to create structure, organization, a step-by-step process, a healthy regimen, but taking action during the process of creating it. The only way that we can actually create something that works is by taking action and experimenting. We are all scientists, right? Everything is an experimentation in life. Every single day we wake up and experiment. Okay. But also remember, Scorpios, it's one step at a time. Okay. This is really big for me too. You can't get to step J from step A. All right. You can't rush through and think that's going to happen. And you're going to be all sorts of scatterbrained and disoriented and super fluid in your flowy, watery nature. Right. So this is the time, your intention, Scorpio, our intentions is to create structure, a step-by-step program, process, a healthy regimen, and remember, one step at a time, but take the fucking action, okay? Now, my Sagittariuses, this is so interesting, and it's so true because my husband is a Sagittarius, and your intentions, this new moon Sagittarius, is if you are in a state where all you can see or feel is suffering or stress in the world, then it's time to remember that we live in a world of polarities. And in that world of polarities, on the opposite end of stress and suffering, is play, right? It is so important to have fun and play for you right now, Sagittarius. Your intention this new moon is to remember that we are in a world that fun is also allowed, and you are meant to enjoy your world. Get creative, express yourself, and remember, if it makes you happy, it is worthy of you, not the other way around. This is something that I really want to really kind of tap into everybody, okay? What makes you happy is worthy of your being. You don't have to prove your worthiness to be happy. Your worthiness is already set. There is no questioning or denying that. So if it makes you happy, then it's worthy of you and your time and your energy. So my Sagittarius is out there. Your intentions this new moon, have fun. Go express yourself. If it makes you happy, do it. If it's being silly, do it. It's time to enjoy yourself and realize that yes, while there is stress, while there is that suffering and that pain, there is also the opposite. And it's okay. It's okay to have fun and feel good. And that is your intention this new moon. All right, my Capricorns. I love my Capricorns. You are so structured, and so it's like when I think of a Capricorn, it's the owl. The owl from Winnie the Pooh comes to mind, and I know that may sound weird because he's a bird and that's air flight, but in Capricorns are ground or earth elements. But I just think of the owl. So my Capricorns, your intention this new moon, this new moon is really all about family for you. It's a new family, new chapter in your family and your home life. This is a time to really nurture your relationships and your emotional stability. I suppose I see the owl not only as because of the structure and it's almost this warmth, coldness from Capricorn, but the owl also lives in the tree. So you're grounded into a stable and solid, comfortable place of residence. And that's what you really should be focusing on. I encourage you to focus on this new moon with your intentions is really emotional stability, nurturing relationships with yourself and other people within your family, and really focusing on that new chapter in your life. Aquarius. I'm going to sing that every time. So, prepare yourself. So Aquarius, my beautiful Aquarius, this is time for recharging. This time to stimulate your thought processes. You are the air sign. You guys are the ones that are really all about shifting and diving in. You're not as dreamy and fantasy and ideologically, say that word again, Misha. Ideologically, is that a word? Maybe I made one up. We'll have to see. As Pisces. However, it is time for you to learn new things. It's time for you to tackle some new puzzles in your life. It's time to renew and refresh your daily routine. You're starting to get a little stagnant. So intentions for you, this new moon in Aries for you, Aquarius, is really refresh yourself, re-stimulate your thought process and conversations, re-stimulate yourself in your mindset by tackling new puzzles and shifting up your daily routine is so important. We get into a rut, and when we get into a rut, then we instead of actually showing up and being energetically present within the ritual and routine that we are doing, the experience that we are doing, we get into this doing it just because, and so the energy leaves and we're co-piloting it. So when we shift it up, then it gives us an opportunity to actually be present and then become a part of that, and then be fully intentional and aware of it. So Pisces, here we are at the end, right? My beautiful Pisces, this is a time for you to check in with your financial awareness. This is a big time for financial things for Pisces. Check in with your financial awareness. What do you desire? Are you there yet? How can you get there? This is a time to really create a plan. This new moon in Aries is really, I think, the fundamental thing that I'm seeing between everybody, all sun signs across the board, is that this is a time for really renewing and starting fresh or new. It makes sense because the new moon is all about newness, right? And Aries is the first in the zodiac. And Aries is the youngest sign. It's the first in the zodiac. So of course, it's like this new cycle starting over again, right? So Pisces, this is the time where you can feel that healthy alignment to invest and purchase. Do it when you feel that, you already deserve it. You'll understand when you create this financial plan or this plan for you, being a good steward of your money is just like being a good steward of your energy, right? Energy is just as the same thing as money. Money is energy. Energy is money. It's all the same thing, right? So when you are allowing yourself to invest in yourself, even if it's something at the dollar store that makes you feel abundant, and you deserve it. It's okay to spend money on yourself. You do the work, but also understand that what do you want? What type of desire what are your desires? Do you desire to just focus on the money, or do you desire to manifest the money to support other things, right? So really check in with yourself, check in with your awareness, check in with what you're doing with your financial, and set that intention of getting clear. And sometimes that means facing what it is that we don't want to face. So this new moon is going to be such an exciting time for everybody. This is a new opportunity. And even though, again, just as it's going to be challenging, it is going to be as rewarding. But remember that it depends on the choices that you make. That it always depends on the choices, right? It's always down to the choices that we make. God damn it. It's so free will. It's the basis of your life is absolute freedom. No one can vibrate for you. Freedom, free will. We have the free will to choose every single thing that we want to do. We also, now granted, there's things that in this world that we don't choose that are provided for us to be able to experience with, but it's how we choose to respond in those experiences. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's still a choice. The basis of your life is absolute freedom. No one can vibrate for you. So this new moon Aries, I really encourage you, really dive into as this waning moon energy. We tap into this, right? Clear out the little pieces of lint. And when that dark moon hits, right? Because we hit the dark moon before we hit the new moon. We can't have new without, the death. This is the death into the rebirth, right? The new moon is the rebirth of the moon, and it's the rebirth in Aries. So this is again the opportunity to see that this is the newness. This is the new that we are tapping into. So utilize this energy, right? Utilize this free will that you have to choose the life that you want. right? Understand that we chose to come to this existence and we chose the desires that we wanted to have. And now we chose to forget and move through this world and experience this life to remember. Okay? So trusting is remembering that. Going through the obstacle course is remembering that. Not bypassing, but facing the unhealthy habits that we have been participating in our entire life, or whether this is this first time or whether we're in a different ascension part of our being. Facing these head on. No longer allowing ourselves to run. This is it. It's time. We go in the shadows. We do the darkness, right? Utilize the waning moon, clean out the lint, get into that dark moon energy and really face it head on. What is it that is keeping you in this low vibrational state, or what is keeping you from moving forward into this wildfire of passion and desire and success and all of these words that we utilize to describe things of how we want to feel? I don't know if you can hear the rain. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to leave it in there. I'm very passionate about this new moon. I'm very passionate about everything that's happening. I'm very passionate about you. We are in such a critical phase in our world right now that if we don't really take the time to connect with all of the cosmic gifts that we have been given in this world to be able to tap into, and into the intuition, into our psychic skills, into our clairvoyance, into our empathy, into the being that we are meant to be, then we will continue to live in this cycle of toxicity where we continue to battle and blame instead of choose, support, uprise, and lift. So, how can you use this new moon in Aries energy? How can you utilize it with your sun sign, right? And if you want to learn more about how to tap into the new moon in Aries and tap into your moon sign, come join the Rising Goddess group. We're going to talk about that on Friday in the new moon and go over all of that. So, I feel really good about this episode. It's been a little bit long. It's been about a month since I've recorded an episode. I've got so many to record for you. So many wonderful topics that we're going to talk about. But I wanted to kick it off with this new moon. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this brought value to you. If you are not already, definitely download the show, rate and review. We are really looking to grow and expand the show to reach as many people as we can to awaken the being within. So head on over to Facebook. You can follow me, Michelle, the Rising Goddess, over on Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group, The Rising Goddess. I also have two groups, the Rising Goddess group for men and the Rising Goddess group for rising humans. I have three special different groups. The Rising Goddess group is for women, cisgender women only. That is really kind of the beef of my work and what I do. So that is where a lot of my clients, or a lot of women that we have joined that. I've just began starting to work with men. And so we've opened up the Rising Goddess group for men. So that is very small, but it is growing. And this is for the man who wants to tap into his healthy masculine, understand the divine feminine aspect of himself without the judgment of the toxic male coming at him. And then the Rising Goddess group for rising humans is for all gender. It is LGBTQ plus safe and welcoming, and it's open, and it's a non-judgmental safe zone for all humans, no matter how you identify, gender, sex, race, creed, it doesn't matter. And that is also new, and we are growing that as well. So definitely come and join us. And so thanks so much for listening to this episode. There's so many more episodes to come, and I can't wait to chat with you. So come join, connect more with the conversation, and I will catch you on the next episode. Later.